Welcome to the Real Estate Espresso Podcast, your morning shot of what's new in the world of real estate investing. I'm your host, Victor Menashe. Thank you to all the loyal listeners. If you're loving what you're hearing on the show, go into Apple Podcasts and drop a review. Better still, go out and tell 2 friends about the show. Spread the love around. Why keep all this goodness to yourself? On today's show, we're talking about what it's like to stand on the other side of the fence. Last week, my wife and I stayed in a short-term rental. The location was perfect, and the price was really quite low. The reviews were good, but not great. The property manager put out 3 bottles of wine for the guests, and they were prominently on display as we arrived. Nice touch. The property advertised free parking included, but what that really meant was that street parking exists in the area if it's available. The interior featured high-speed internet, and the performance was excellent. The air conditioning, which was advertised, was limited to the bedroom. The beds were 2 single beds, side by side. The sheets were old, the mattress was old, the towels were old. The soap rack in the shower was rusted and hazardous. Here we were, in the most amazing location, paying only $110 per night in the height of tourist season. On our last morning, I spoke with the property manager as we were leaving. He manages 44 units. I told him about the short-term rentals that I own and how we're commanding prices of over $700 a night in peak season. The property manager expressed a lot of frustration that many of his property owners really don't get what it takes to deliver a quality product or maximize their revenue. He seemed to dismiss what I was saying by positioning my property as a luxury property. I asked him a few questions. What's the difference between cheap towels and expensive towels? Does it really cost that much more to put proper chef's knives and everything you need to prepare a meal in the kitchen? Does it really cost that much more to provide salt and pepper and the essentials? When you assume a perspective that every dollar spent on the customer experience is $1 less in profit, you may not be focused on what it takes to maximize revenue. In a market where there's a lot of supply, it's important to make sure that your product offer is differentiated in the market. Even if you're convinced that you'll be full in the high season, you will experience vacancy during the low season. And if you want to get more than your fair share of occupancy during low season, you want to have the best possible property reviews, the best photos, and be positioned as one of the premier offerings in the market. You always have the choice of lowering your price at a later time. But if there's going to be vacancy, you want the vacancy to go to the junk in the market, not your property. Do you want your guest first impression when they walk in the door to be one of, wow, too bad we can't stay longer? The opposite reaction is, oh well, we're only here for a couple of nights, we can live with it. Over the past couple of years, the heavyweights in the short-term rental market have been Airbnb and VRBO. However, increasingly the online travel agencies like Priceline.com, Booking.com, and Expedia are offering privately owned short-term rentals alongside the major branded hotel rooms on the same webpage and in the same search results. Priceline makes it clear that hotels are the competition. If your product offer is not up to international hotel standards, clients will ultimately choose a hotel room instead. If you consistently get reviews that your accommodations have the most comfortable beds ever, that they're clean, they're beautifully and professionally decorated, the social proof from the hundreds of reviews that you will get over time will make your property stand apart from the rest of the pack. You'll get more than your fair share of business simply by making a small number of well-placed investments in the customer experience. That's the difference in mindset. You're making an investment in the customer experience as opposed to incurring an expense which degrades your profit. When we add a new short-term rental to the portfolio, even if the furniture that's in the existing unit is in serviceable condition, we'll usually replace it with brand new furniture. We do most of our furniture shopping at the large factory direct stores where you can consistently buy the same product over a period of time. We don't just buy the cheapest coffee table or the least expensive dining room chairs. These items get heavy use and they need to be able to look as good as new in 6 months, a year, or even 3 years. Not the same caliber of furniture that you might purchase at, say, IKEA. There's a huge number of amateurs in the short-term rental business. Ultimately, I don't consider them to be my competition. But there's a growing number of professionals who take the business seriously and offer a great quality product to the end customer. As you think about that, if you're considering getting into the short-term rental business, make sure you play to win. Have an awesome rest of your day. Go make some great things happen. I'll talk to you again tomorrow.